Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, August 24th, and this is our 10-minute English News Cafe.
Monday needs one bright detail before my brain agrees to join the day.
Then you picked a good table. Today has a tiny collection, a busy volleyball schedule, and a very tall monument.
That menu already sounds like it belongs to 3 different friends.
Today's keyword is stand out, spelled S-T-A-N-D-O-U-T.
That means something catches your attention because it looks different or surprising, right?
Right. A red umbrella can stand out on a gray street without making any noise.
I would notice it twice, then wish my own umbrella had tried harder.
A small detail can change the whole picture. That is our thread today.
First, a Happy Meal box gets a strange new guest.
Then a volleyball calendar gets much fuller.
And finally, we look up at a monument in Poland.
Before we begin, look at Lisa's bright cup beside the coffee machine.
It is doing more for me than a Monday pep talk. It says, "Wake up, there are stories."
Exactly. One clear detail can invite a second look.
Coffee ready, notebook open, curiosity switched on.
Stay with us and subscribe for another short English Cafe tomorrow.
Let's find out what stands out today.
McDonald's began a limited Hello Kitty and Friends X Godzilla Happy Meal at participating U.S. restaurants on August 18th.
Cute friends and giant monsters in one meal? I would inspect the box before I looked at the fries.
The release includes 8 collectible toys.
8 turns lunch into a small treasure hunt.
Each toy pairs a Sanrio character with a Godzilla franchise monster.
My phone camera would notice that pairing before I even took a bite.
I can picture that. The surprise is the contrast between the cute characters and the monster world.
It is like putting a bow on a thunderstorm and asking it to sit beside your drink.
That is very Lisa. The collection is available for a limited time while supplies last.
So collectors will probably want to look early before their favorite has vanished.
Yes. McDonald's did not announce one final end date for the promotion.
That makes the box feel a little more dramatic. Lunch should not require a calendar alert, but here we are.
The phrase "while supplies last" gives the release that little countdown feeling.
My shopping cart hears a countdown and immediately starts acting suspicious.
In this case, the countdown is attached to 8 different pairings.
I would open one, laugh at it, and instantly wonder about the other 7.
Friends could compare which toy they found without needing the same favorite character.
That is the fun part. One person might want the cutest one, and I would chase the oddest monster mix.
You would probably choose the one that makes the whole table laugh.
Absolutely. If a tiny toy improves a Monday lunch, it has earned its place.
So this story stands out through an unexpected meeting. Familiar cute characters, familiar monsters, and 8 small collectibles.
A small box, a big monster mood, and one very cheerful surprise.
Which pairing would you want to find first?
The strangest one. I like a lunch guest with a little chaos.
FOX Sports announced 35 women's college volleyball matches for its 2026 schedule across Fox, FS1, and FS2.
35 dates would turn my calendar into a volleyball fan's little command center.
8 of those matches will air on its broadcast network.
8 sounds important, but What makes that number special?
It is the most women's college volleyball matches any network has aired on broadcast television in a single season.
So the record belongs to those 8 broadcast network matches, not to every match in the plan.
Exactly. The other 27 matches are still part of the schedule on FS1 and FS2.
I like having the map in my head. 35 altogether, with 8 on broadcast television.
That is a clear way to hold the story.
And it gives a fan more nights to say, dinner can wait one more rally.
Watching live does make a close point feel shared.
Yes. You can text a friend right after the rally instead of hearing about it the next morning.
The schedule also includes the first Big Ten volleyball championship.
Is that the one with a date I can actually put in my phone?
Yes. It is set for November 25th at the Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indiana.
I can see dinner on the table and everybody suddenly stopping mid-sentence for one close set.
That image explains why a broadcast schedule matters. It gives people a shared time to watch.
I would circle November 25th, then hope my food survives a 5-set match.
The news is precise without being complicated. 35 matches in all, and a record 8 on the broadcast network.
Numbers are easier to remember when they come with a picture of dinner getting cold.
That is your study method, apparently.
It is a serious method, Emily. Snacks are excellent memory tools.
This schedule stands out because one network is putting a record 8 women's college volleyball matches on broadcast television.
And because 35 chances to watch can become a real autumn habit.
In Konotopi, Poland, the monument of Our Lady of Mercy was blessed on August 15th and measures 55.6 meters in total.
I did not know Konotopi before today. That height makes my neck want to schedule a break already.
The monument has a 40.6 meter figure.
And it is not standing on an ordinary base, is it?
No! The figure stands on a 15-meter crown-shaped structure that contains a viewing terrace.
So there is a tall figure above, then a crown shape below, with a terrace inside it.
Yes, those two parts make the 55.6 meter total easier to picture.
I would step back, look up, and still wonder how one photo could fit the whole shape.
That is a natural reaction. The distinctive structure is as memorable as the height.
The terrace is the detail that keeps catching me. It makes the crown shape feel like part of the story, not just decoration.
You are right to notice it. The viewing terrace is inside the 15-meter crown-shaped structure.
Now I am imagining myself looking down at the crown, then up at the figure, then down again.
The monument was blessed on August 15th.
That gives this enormous shape a very recent moment in the news.
The project and independent reports call it the tallest monument of its kind in Europe.
That explains why Konotopi is the place name to remember, not just another dot on a map.
Exactly. Konotopi is where this newly blessed monument with its 55.6 meter total stands.
I would tell a friend the number first, then make a giant crown shape with my hands.
That would be a useful explanation. The 40.6 meter figure and 15 meter structure are the two pieces behind the total.
And the terrace stops it from feeling like a simple stack of measurements.
This story stands out through scale and shape together.
Also through the mental picture of me trying very hard not to get a stiff neck.
From a toy box to a volleyball screen to a monument in Poland, We have had 3 very different ways to stand out.
And every one of them gave us a picture to keep.
Let's bring those pictures back to our cafe table. What stood out first for you?
The 8 collectibles. I can almost hear myself opening the box before I touch the fries.
I keep thinking about the volleyball schedule. 35 matches with a record 8 on the Fox broadcast network.
I am taking the crown-shaped structure. I would sketch it while my coffee quietly gets cold.
That is why standout is such a useful phrase. It helps us name the detail that stays with us.
It does not have to be loud. It just has to make us look twice.
Today, a playful pairing stood out.
A fuller sports schedule stood out.
And a 55.6-meter monument stood out.
3 very different stories. 1 clear phrase to carry home.
Which news story stood out most to you and why? The 8 toys, the 35 matches, or the monument in Poland?
Tell us why, and let your own detail be the answer.
Thank you for spending your Monday morning with us. Subscribe and come back for another 10-minute English Cafe tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Keep noticing what stands out.